What's up, people? It's another Raw video from your favorite YouTube scout, Draft Raw. I am so excited right now because I am getting to the end of the 32 for 32 series. This is the second to last video. The next video that's going to be coming out tomorrow will be the final video. And if you can tell by the title, this is going to be about the Indianapolis Colts 2020 draft. I have done every single division, every single team except for the Colts, and tomorrow's video, the Jaguars. So I'm excited right now. I'm ready to get straight into it. Before I actually get into it, if you want to know about or just see any of the videos from the past or know about any videos of that are going to be coming up in the future, please look in the description box below. If you have to comment on something about, you know, the quality of the video or just even you know, maybe I could make a mistake in something that I said about your team, please leave that comment below. I welcome all people to comment. And so, you know what? Anyway, without further ado, I'm not going to get into all this rambling, tangent. Let's just get into the Indianapolis Colts 2020 draft with the first pick that they had in the second round. They decided to select, actually, with that first pick, they traded to get DeForest Buckner. To me, it was a great trade. You get somebody that you could put on your defensive line that I think fits the scheme, because I do believe the Colts do run a 3-4. I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that. I at one point they were running a 3-4. Definitely with Chuck Pagano was there, I believe. But I'm not sure what they run now exactly. I think they still run it. But anyway, it doesn't matter which they run. DeForest Buckner is one of those defensive linemen that can kind of go into both. He gives you the ability. He gives you length. So, you know, and then that length is going to add to stuff like batted passes down and stuff like that. But he also gives you someone that is versatile, that he can actually rush the passer and stop the run. Create inside pressure, which is big time, you know, because he does have the strength and he does have the quickness to be able to rush the passes from the inside, or even on the outside he can do it as well. And then also be able to stop the run. He's not the greatest run stuffer, but he's not that bad at it. And I think that this was an excellent pick by him. So with that first draft pick in the second round, they decided to select Michael Pittman, wide receiver, USC. Now, with Michael Pittman, just reading what I had in my notes, typical tall receiver, jump ball type of guy, deep threat, red zone type of player. You know, his route running is a little bit left to be desired. He didn't do much like technical route running stuff that I did see at USC. A lot of times his biggest plays are just when you saw him out there and he was playing, it was more of just kind of going down the field, whether it was like a slant or maybe a little quick little hitch route or a 10-yard comeback route. A lot of times, you know, and then you got the big routes like the post and the corner and just the regular 9 route or the go route or the fly route or whatever you want to call it. That's what type of guy he was. One of those players that, you know, picking Michael Pittman, seeing as that y'all have Phillip Rivers, is almost like having Vincent Jackson. And what they had at Vincent Jackson and Michael Floyd at one point, just, you know, throwing the ball up. Malcolm Floyd, that's what's his name, Malcolm Floyd, throwing the ball up for jump balls and stuff like that. That's the type of person or type of player that Michael Pittman is. He's that type of person where, just like those two guys, they're deep threat jump ball guys, and I think that it can help the Indianapolis Colts a lot. I think that this was an excellent pick, especially at where they picked him. They honestly probably got maybe the best receiver at that point in time that fit what they wanted. I thought Denzel Mims was a guy that was probably I would have rated a little bit higher, but no doubt Michael Pittman is a pretty darn good receiver, and he should be able to do wonders, especially being a compliment to a guy like a T.Y. Hilton. With the very next pick in the second round, they decided to select one of my favorite running backs, just that I've seen come out the draft period. Jonathan Taylor, running back from Wisconsin's best pure running back. And when I put that label on someone, because I put that label on Nick Chubb too, and like an Adrian Peterson, it has nothing to do with what you can do on third down as a pass catcher. It has nothing to do with catching or blocking or anything. The pure running back is being able to line up in the backfield, whether it's single back or I formation or wing, whatever style it is, and just running the football. Having the vision, having the acceleration and speed and burst to be able to get through the hole and get to the second level. Whether he has the quickness and the power and all that type of stuff, that's the extra stuff. But just looking at the best pureness of a running back. He's one of those guys that has speed, that has quickness, and is definitely a power running back. And he brings great vision. He actually does have solid hands. And so with him having solid hands, and he's already the best, just pure straight up running back, just hand the ball and let him be a running back. That's why he's one of my favorite running backs in this draft, or just players in this draft, period. Then on top of that, he has underrated speed, which we saw at the combine. Actually, when I wrote these notes, was before the combine. He ran a 4.39. Like, that's underrated speed right there, because people thought he was going to be a 4.5 guy, and he ran sub 4.4. And he has quickness that, like I said, when you think of a power back, you don't think of a guy with a bunch of quickness, and this guy has the quickness. He has great vision, like I already said. The only biggest problem that I have him had was that he had a lot of fumbles. The fumbling was the biggest problem. I mean, it was a situation where it was just in games when you don't need him to do that, and he just give it up, and it's like, and it kind of reminded me of Adrian Peterson, because Adrian Peterson had a fumbling problem. I don't know if he had one in college, but it was definitely in the NFL. He had a big fumbling problem. I think they said he had a fumbling problem in college. I'm not sure at that time, because I was pretty young when Adrian Peterson came out in 2007. I just have to say that overall, though, without the fumbles, like I said, the best pure running back in this draft. I understand why he wasn't the first running back because of the fumbles. You know, Edwards-Helaire get a little bit of, love or whatever. But that's probably, honestly, that was probably a system thing based on anyway. But overall, I think that Jonathan Taylor is an excellent pick for the Indianapolis Colts. And the only thing I question about is that I like Marlon Mack coming out of the draft, and I like Marlon Mack in the NFL. And I heard there's going to be a 1-2 punch, but when you choose a running back that high, you're kind of saying that you're willing to let Marlon Mack kind of drift off. You're willing to let him go contract year, just let him go. And you're going to have Jonathan Taylor be your main running back, which is not a bad thing, because I think Jonathan Taylor overall as a prospect is a better running back. But it's just one of those things where it's just like you have something there that's already good. Why, fudge it up? You know what I mean? Why? So, anyway, with the very next pick, in their draft, in the third round, they decided to select safety from Utah, Julian Blackmon. I'm going to just be real quick about this. His thing, he needs to learn how to play the safety position. He was a former corner, turned safety this past year. He just needs to learn the position more. So he's definitely going to need about 2 years, because especially with the coronavirus situation going on, he's going to need about 2 years before you can expect him to be anything in the NFL. Unfortunately, that's what it is. But it's just one of those situations. He just needs to learn the position. With the very next pick, they decided to select quarterback Jacob Eason. Jacob Eason out of Washington. The things I wrote about Jacob, he loses accuracy with pressure. Kind of a problem. Obviously, because, you want a guy to stand tall in a pocket, and when pressure is around him, still be able to kind of, stand his ground and take that hit, but make an accurate throw. And he gets a little jittery. Like I said, and another thing, he can get flustered. He gets jittery, he gets flustered a little bit. Probably the strongest arm in this draft. Justin Herbert has a pretty live arm as well. Trying to think of anybody else that just have this absolute cannon. Those two guys particularly have absolute cannons. I mean, I know Jordan Love has a cannon as well, but I named those two guys because their cannons it just seemed like there's a little bit more zip in the pass. I'm not talking about how long you can throw the ball, how far you can throw it. I'm talking about that zip. Strongest arm. Can make tight window throws, which is something that, like I just named Justin Herbert, you don't see Justin Herbert making a lot of tight window throws. You see him make a lot of great throws. But this guy, I see in college. I'm watching this guy make tight window throws. Not athletic to avoid the pass rush. Kind of a negative. Well, not kind of. It's a negative in a way because it pretty much just says he is a pocket type of quarterback. He's one of those guys that he can run, but he's not an elusive in the pocket type of guy that can shift, spin, or just spin out of something and then go and he's not one of those type of guys. He's one of those guys that he drops back, he sees an opening, and then he can just start running. But once you get pressure, he's just like this. And he can't move as quickly and as agile as you would want him to be, especially for the new age quarterbacks that are coming out. And then the other thing is that he stares down his receivers. That's a big problem. I think that there's a lot of things that are coachable with Jacob Eason to a point where I don't think this is a bad pick. And I think that if he shows something in when they do actually start to train in the NFL eventually, if he shows a little bit of something, this could be huge for him in his development and in his career, to a point where the Colts may not think about drafting a quarterback next year, may go with him if he actually shows a little bit. And I think that he has the ability. He just the coaching that stuff out of him is the biggest thing. There's not any real physical limitations except for the athleticism, but overall, it's a good, solid, strong arm pocket quarterback that you can work something with when it comes to him. With the very next pick, they decided to select Ball State right tackle or guard Danny Pinter. Average strength, solid speed, converted tight end. He probably, just like Julian Blackman, needs about another year or two, just because he was a converted tight end. The strength doesn't show up. Obviously, like I said, he's a tight end. He just needs to put on more weight in terms of strength, especially if he's going to be playing guard. And but he does have really, really solid feet, which is something that was kind of surprising, looking at it as though they were saying, okay, he's not a tackle or guard, but I think it's because he has like 31-inch arms. The reason why they won't put him at tackle and they say he needs to be a guard. But I think his feet are good enough to actually play the tackle position, and they're good enough. I'm not gonna say they're great. I just say they're good enough, and not left tackle, but the right tackle or just a tackle position. The right tackle is usually, you don't have your best pass rusher over on that side of what he's blocking. But in today's game, in today's age, a guy like Khalil Mack is on that side. So then it kind of messes things up a little bit. But overall, I think that he's a good, solid player. With the very next pick in the 6th round, they decided to select Robert Windsor, defensive tackle, Penn State. The only things I had about him was that he was a hard worker and he's not gifted. That's it. He's just a hard worker. He's just not athletic, not gifted at anything. He's just a hard-working type of defensive lineman. With the very next pick, they decided to select Isaiah Rodgers, cornerback, Massachusetts. I didn't have a lot of tape that I could watch. I usually use YouTube as my reference for watching game tape and stuff. And there wasn't anything except for highlights, and I can't do that off of highlights, because highlights just show the good stuff. They don't show all the plays and the bad stuff. They only show the good stuff. With the very next pick, I just want to, before I get to the next pick, with their last pick, they decided to choose Jordan Glasgow, linebacker from Michigan. There wasn't much tape on him as well, so I just wanted to get that out the way real quick. I didn't want to end it on that. So I'm going to end it on their second and last pick, and that was Desmond Patton, wide receiver. I forgot what this dude played at. Wide receiver. Where the heck did Desmond Patton play? Give me 1 second. This is not even going to take that long. This is not even going to take Desmond Patton. And it's taking long. Washington State. Godly. Washington State. So yeah, he played at Washington State. When I saw him, he seemed like a good blocker, and he was a tough receiver. There wasn't much I could see from him, honestly. I watched one game tape that I think Gardner Minshew was throwing him the ball. Then I watched another one where obviously Anthony Gordon. There wasn't much to get from it. because he was just an okay player. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's going to be somebody that can make a difference on the team, but this is a situation where, you know, sometimes even choosing a receiver, you can choose it for special teams value, and it doesn't mean special team value is like a return guy, but just there's actually some receivers in the league that are gunners and stuff like that. So it's kind of one of those things where I think that that's where he's going to be, and that's where his role is going to be for the NFL, just for the Colts team in general. Anyway, that was the last pick that I wanted to talk about. I thank anybody for watching this video. If you want to see more of me, please subscribe. Please hit that notification bell if you want to get all notifications. Make sure you hit all and not personalized. If you like this video, please hit that like button. And like I said earlier in the video, you can comment below. Once again, my name is Draft Raw. I thank all you guys for watching. Goodbye.